First, I want to present myself. Yeah, my name is Bobach, and I'm a Danish elite orienteer. I've been doing orienteering my whole life. My family is orienteering. Both of my parents, they have been in the Danish national team. So yeah, it's really much about orienteering in my family. But I have done other sports when I was younger, but I just felt like orienteering was the coolest thing, and I had the best friends there, so I chose to go forward with this. Yeah, and I've been at a lot of junior world championships when I was young. In Denmark, where it's a quite small orienteering nation, so I was actually at my first junior world orienteering championship when I was 15 years old, and I had both of my brothers with me, and it has been really nice to do this as a family. I was really young, so I felt quite protected when having both of my brothers with me. And both of them have been in the senior elite group. San, my youngest older brother, he is also a world champion. Christian, the oldest, isn't, but he has still done really well. I went to my first World Orienteering Championship in 2010 when I was still a junior. And since then I've doing World Orienteering Championship every year. And then last year I finally went all the way to the top and I won 2 gold medals, and yeah, that was fantastic. It was in long distance and in relay. So my dream came true. Besides doing orienteering, I'm also a part-time student in Aarhus. I'm doing molecular medicine, and I think that I can't live of orienteering. In Denmark, it's quite hard to get sponsors because orienteering isn't really famous and it's not an Olympic sport. But I'm not just doing study to get some money, because in Denmark it's kind of special. We get paid to do university education, but I also think it's really nice to have something beside the sport, because I think sometimes you can have so much focus on training and orienteering, and sometimes you just need a break and you need to focus on something else. And especially if you're injured, it can be quite tough only to think on your sport and that you are frustrated about not being able to do how much training that you want. So yeah, it's really nice to have something else to think of. And I know that I can't do elite orienteering my whole life, so I need to do something when I finish my elite career. So I actually also look forward to go out and have a nice job, because I think it's really exciting what I am studying. So I'm pretty happy with being a part-time student. I could imagine to have a year or maybe 2 as a professional orienteer, but just not at the moment. I haven't finished my bachelor degree yet, but maybe when I do, I will maybe take a year off and just do orienteering. But I like to have something else. And then I'm also in the Athletes Commission. I've been that for 3 years now, I think. And this January, I just became the chairwoman. So yeah, I really like to be able to help orienteering move forward, and also let the people in IOF know what is important for us elite orienteers, because I know we are often the most visible orienteers, and I'm really happy that IOF want to listen to us. So I'm trying to do the best I can. Yeah, I think orienteering is a really fantastic sport. It has a lot of elements. It's a really physical, demanding sport. We are running in marshes, we are running uphill, we are running downhill, on paths, in stony areas. So you really have to be all round good at running. And you really have to be endurant, especially if you're running long distance, that is 1 hour plus. But you also have to be quite fast. And those some of the best orienteers, they can run a 5K in less than 15 minutes at the men, not the women. So they're really fast. You really, really have to be able to run fast to be in the top. But still you have to be so strong when you're running in marshes and things like that. So I'm training very much just physical training, especially at home. Many trainings where I don't have a map with me, but I'm just doing physical training. But then, the technical part is so important, because if you can't find your way, it doesn't matter how fast you can run, because you need to find the controls. And we have the World Championship every year, and we have to adapt to new terrains every year. And also during a season, we have World Cup, we have the World Orienteering Championships, and then there's also a lot of club activities in different countries. And so you just have to be able to adapt to different terrains. So you really have to be good at the technical part. And for that reason, we are going on training camps all the time. I just got a question earlier this day of how many days I'm away from home, and I think it's at least 100 days. This May, I will be home for 6 days. Or the rest of the time I'm just in different countries. I've just been Czech Republic, now I'm here, and later on I'm going back to Czech Republic to have the European champs. So I think that's one of the things that's really special about orienteering. We have to go out to different countries to explore terrains, because a forest in Sweden is definitely not the same as one in Denmark or one in Switzerland. So we have to try different things. Because when I went to high school, I was in a sport class, and there was one doing archery, and he asked me, why are you going on training camps all the time? A forest is a forest. I was, oh no, I don't think you have been to many forests then. It's so different, because I could ask him, isn't the thing you are pointing at with your archery, isn't that the same? And he was, oh no, the weather, and yeah, I guess that's true, but it's definitely not, a forest isn't just a forest. And then there is the mental part. When you're doing orienteering, you're out in the forest by yourself. It's not like when you are playing football, you all the time know how you're doing compared to your competitors. But you aren't when you're doing orienteering. You don't know how the others are doing. And you can get so many thoughts of, oh, am I doing well? Oh, do I have to push harder? Do I have to take some chances to really do well? And all these thoughts are just disturbing things. Because the most important thing is just to focus on what you're doing. And I've done a lot of mental work to try to be good when I'm out running, just to focus on the next control and where I'm going. And I shouldn't evaluate on how I'm doing, because then my mind would just be off the job that I'm actually doing. So there's a lot of mental things also. And I've also been working quite much with defining myself and the values that I live for, and I've been thinking a lot about how I actually want to be as a lead orienteer. And I think it's quite important because you have to do a lot of priorities and choices when you're doing orienteering, and if you don't know what you want to, what you're aiming for, and you don't know how you would like to act, then it's really tough to make these choices. But if you know your own values and what you really want to be like, then it's much easier to do all these choices. So I've been working quite much with that. But besides training, then there's a lot of obligations, because when I just think about how much I'm training, I could be able to do full-time study if I just think training plus study. That would be possible, but there's so much more than just training. Because I think orienteering is a quite tough sport when you're running. You can't run for 30 hours a week, or very few people would be able to. But if you're biking, you can, because you don't. Yeah, it's not that tough as running for your bones and your joints and things like that. But there are so many other obligations I think I have besides just training. Yeah, I'm doing study, as I told you. I'm doing it like when I'm here in the spring, I only do 33% of full-time study because we have so many training camps and competitions. But then in the fall, when there's not so much orienteering on the program, I do some more. But then, my family and friends, I really like to spend time with them, but it can be quite tough, especially with a month like this, when I'm home for 6 days. It's really hard to have time for my boyfriend and my friends and family. So, I really have to plan when to see them, and in the fall I often think like, okay, training shouldn't come first, and then I have more time for them. But here in the spring, when it's close to the championships, it's a lot about training. And I think as long as I let the people know that what my goals are and how important it is to me, they really support me, and then they know, okay, I will give them time later in the year. Then there's also the local orienteering club. They're supporting me a lot, and I really want to give something back. But for me, when I'm I'm training a lot with the elite center we have in Aarhus. We have like every day we have a morning training for all the best orienteers who live in Aarhus. And then it's really hard to find time to also go to the club trainings. But then I try to be there and help with some other things. For example, here I'm cooking for a race. We have something called Night Trail in the winter, where we arrange, actually it's just a running race where you run on small trails. But then I can help with cooking and things like that, because I know here in spring I can't be there for many club trainings. So I want to give something back in another way. And I also plan some of the trainings during the year, to give something back. And we are also arranging some school championships for the kids in Aarhus, and I've also been there and giving prizes and autographs, and I think the club, they really appreciate it when us elite orienteers we are visible and trying to help them getting new members. There's also some sponsors that I have to take care of. I don't have a lot of sponsors, but I have some, and I should let them know that I'm really happy with the support they give. So I also have to write them letters and do things with them to let them know how much I appreciate what they're doing. Then it also takes some time to try to promote myself, and especially on the social medias. I don't think I'm really good at it, and so I really have to work and think, I should post something on the Facebook and Twitter and Instagram to let people know who I am, and so they could see what a kind of person I am, and hopefully somebody would like to support my orienteering. And then there's the Atlas Commission. It doesn't take much work, but sometimes I have to do some things, and I really want to, but it can be stressful also to do that when you have many other things in your daily life. Then I also think a lot about that I am a big role model, especially when I'm at competitions. There are so many people who would look at me. I can't just go around and be anonymous. So I really have to think about how to act. And sometimes if I've been running really bad, I just feel like being a bit angry and be by myself, but so many people want to talk to me, and then just have to try to be a bit positive and talk to people. And I think it's really nice. People are so sweet, and I think it's something really special about orienteering, that we are the same competition: the elite, the youth, the elderly, and yeah, we just have such a great atmosphere, and everybody can talk to everybody. People aren't afraid to go to me, even though I'm a world champion, and that's really nice. But of course, it's sometimes a bit tough when you just want to be by yourself and be a bit angry. But yeah. And then also we have this elite center, orienteering in Aarhus, and I'm quite aware that I have to contribute to keeping it a good environment. Sometimes you can think so much about, oh, what's best for me, and I want to do whatever is best for me, so I'll be the best at the World Championship. But sometimes I really have to think that we are such a good group that sometimes I will have to do the best for the group. Maybe that training isn't the most perfect for me, but if I'm doing that, we'll have such a good group, and that will push us all forward, and also me. So I feel quite obligated to the training environment, and I'm quite sure that made me really good. Yeah, and how do I then navigate through all these things? As I said before, it's a lot about priority, because there's so many things I would like to do, and I think it's quite characteristic for many orienteers that they are also quite good in school and want to do well. But I have accepted that I can't do everything 100%, or at least I have to prioritize that. Especially here in the spring, it's orienteering that comes first, and it's training and it's a recovery. But then I can say, okay, in the fall, when the championships are over, I could put some more focus into my school, and so I can also do that quite well. But I also think I will learn how to be really focused when I do things. Many of my those people I study with, they can study so much, and they read the same things over and over again. But I've learned how to do things really focused, and then I just have to do it once. So that's really a skill that I've learned from having such a structured everyday life where I have to do so many things. But yeah, it's really nice to have learned that. But then I also think it's quite important to plan some time for recovery, because when there are so many things and obligations you have, you feel like, oh, I want to do it all, and I want to do it all well. But if you don't recover and have a little time to think about what you're doing and why you're doing things, then it just won't be good. You need the recovery to load up, otherwise you shouldn't train so much if you don't have time for recovery. And that's especially when I use my own values, or what I call them, to really see, okay, am I living the way I want to? And that's quite important for me. I think getting a gold medal, it's fantastic after a race where you just felt like, oh, I went all in, I did all the best I could. It's so fantastic to get the medal. But I don't think that's the most important thing. The most important thing is that I'm happy with my everyday life, because the everyday life is most of the year. And if I'm not happy there, I shouldn't do it. So I really try to reflect often. And if someday I find out that the everyday life isn't how I would like it, then I should stop. But I don't think that will be in the near future. So that's good. Yeah, I've tried to make my day as an orienteering course. I presented it to some of the other orienteers in the national team, and they had some quite different interpretations of what it all meant. But I'll try to take you through it and tell you what I thought about it. Yeah. But the first thing in the morning, I'll try to make this bollocks clear for you, but maybe I wouldn't succeed, but I'll try. Because the first thing I do most morning is that I'm going for morning training with the Elite Center. And sometimes you wake up and find your body hurting and you're really tired, and it's like looking at a map and see that, oh, it's just really thick forest. Oh, I wouldn't get through it. But then I meet all the others, and yeah, it's so nice to be with other people training, and then then it's not that hard to push. If you're all by yourself, it can be so tough to get it all out. But when I'm with the others, it's like, oh, I get through the green and thick area, and then it's just really nice. There's some small hills, because it is tough, and it should be a tough training. We're often doing intervals or strength training in the morning, so it's really tough. But when you're with a lot of other people, it's just like cruising in some really nice wide open forest where you can just run really fast. After the morning training, I often have some time for eating my breakfast and maybe take a little nap. It's really nice napping after morning training, and it just feels like running downhill on a path. And yeah, it's where I really recharge and get ready for the next legs of the day. Then I have made a butterfly, because sometimes I do some things first and other times some other things. And this is university. Oh, it can seem really hard, and it's uphill, it's green. But when I look carefully, I can see, oh, if I'm really focused, I can easily get through. So it's about, I shouldn't just run in there without thinking. I should just really think about, okay, how will I get the best out of it, and then I can actually find a quite good way. And it's uphill, but actually I like running uphill, and I'm good at running uphill, so I should just get going, and then I'll actually find it quite nice. But after morning training, it can seem a little tough to go to university. Sometimes I'm just reading at home, especially here in this spring. I only have to go to university 2 times a week, so often I'm just doing it at home. The other loop is some doing a lot of email stuff and promotion, social medias, at least commission. It's some things where I think, oh, can I just do it easy? Yeah, I could just take a nice running on the path out. But if I really want to get something out of it and really learn something, I should go straight, and I should really navigate, because that will help me in the end if I really do it properly. So I'm trying to do that, even though it takes some time, because I think, oh, there's always so many emails, and I just want to get rid of it, but often it's important, so I should actually just do it. Then often in the afternoon, I go to the physio or going to some massage. We have I have one quite close where I can go, and it's to keep me out of injuries, or if I have some injuries, they will try to fix me. And that's also where I really recharge and get ready for the rest of the day, or the rest of the week, perhaps. The next leg should symbolize my planning and my preparations for competitions, because there are so many competitions almost every weekend, and you have to prepare to do it really well. There's often a lot of information, and you can find old maps to look at, so you have an idea of what are you going to do, and what are the hard things in this terrain. And also just about planning, and see how will my travels plan be, and how many competitions should I go to, not to make it too tough, and all these things. And when I look at a leg like that, it can seem like there are so many details that I have to find, and it can be really tough. But if I just really spend the time to simplify it, it actually isn't that hard. And I try to symbolize it by, you can actually follow this all the way there and go in. And if I training if I train in simplification, I'll be so much better for many competitions. So it's, if I just spend the time on planning my life, everything will be easier. So it's like I have to invest some time in this. And then the next leg is second training of the day. It's again just a bit uphill in the beginning, but when I get started, that's actually what I love. I love training. So yeah, it's just really nice. Some small hills. It's a bit tough, but really nice. Because yeah, I think for me, training and competing is the most important things about being an top elite orienteer. And then the last leg is in the evening when I have time to be with my boyfriend and my friends. And that's also a really important leg. I try to symbolize it with a little lake in the forest that's really beautiful and nice, and where just have time for reflection and think about, oh, how beautiful it is to do orienteering. So actually, the whole thing should also symbolize that during a day, there's quite many different things. Like out in the forest, sometimes you're frustrated because it seems so tough and so difficult, and you are not sure that you can find the right route choice. But then afterwards, there will come a nice leg, and things will seem easy again. So yeah, and actually, I like having a day like this with many different things. Yeah. Sometimes people also ask me, especially those I'm studying with, oh, isn't it tough? You're going away on training camps all the time, and how do you also get some study done? And but yeah, I just think it's so nice to see so much of the world and try different things. I really feel like I get many skills that I'm not only going to use in my orienteering career, but I'm definitely sure that I'll be able to use them when I once going out and have a normal job and maybe a family. Because especially all these things about performing when I have to and focus when I have to, it's really good. And I can see it when I'm going to the exams, I'm doing quite well compared to how much reading I'm doing. And I think that's because I've learned to be in all these stressful situations that I'm doing when I'm orienteering. So that's skills I will bring with me in the rest of my life. So that's really good. I think that was kind of what I wanted to say. Do you have any questions?